श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांत आचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंग परकालमणित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्मरक्षणेत्योगामान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपालदेशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः। व्यासं वसिष्ठनप्तारं शक्तेः पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे सुखतातं तपोनिधिं। व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः। श्री विष्णु सहस्रनाम स्तोत्रम. We are actually fortunate and blessed to enjoy the different Vyakhyanam and the commentaries of our Purvacharyas, Sri Parasara Bhattar, Sri Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara, in their Bhashyams. Each Nama is a beautiful reflection of the divine glories of the Lord Shriyapati Sriman Narayana. Today we will enjoy the 94th Slokam. Vihaya sagatir jyotihi suruchir hutabuk vibuhu ravir virochana surya savitara vilochanaha. We will first enjoy the one-liner, the brief one-liner meaning of the Nama, and then dwell deep into the individual Nama. This is a beautiful Slokam. Vihaya sagatir jyotihi. Vihaya sagatihi. He who is the gati, the means for the attainment of Paramapadam. He is the means, he is the way, he is the rasta, he is the vadi. And he himself is the goal to be attained. Vihaya sagatihi. He who is the means for attainment of Paramapadam or attainment of himself. He is the means for attaining himself, him. Jyotihi. He is the light that leads to Sri Vaikuntham, and he is self-luminous. Suruchihi. Vihaya sagatihi jyotihi. Suruchihi. He has lovely, beautiful effulgence. Ruchihi. Suruchihi. Lovely, auspicious effulgence. Hutabuk vibuhu. He who is the bright fortnight of the moon. Valarpirai. So, he is the bright fortnight of the moon. This is the one-liner. We will go into the meaning. Ravihi. He is the sun, the Suryan, with his brilliance, with his luster, with the splendor. Ravihi vilochanaha. He has got various splendors, sun, moon, star, day, night, etc. Savitar, then Suryaha, one who generates brilliance in Surya or Agni, one who generates the splendor, the brightness in Surya, in Agni. Savita, he who produces or brings life in the form of Savita, the sun. He is the one in the form of the sun brings life to the Prapancham, the Leela Vibhuti, the universe, the earth. Ravi Lochanaha, he who illuminates. So, this is the one-liner meaning. So, we will go into the individual namas. Vihaya sagatir jyotihi suruchir hutabuk vibuhu ravir virochana suryaha savita ravilochanaha. Sri Parasara Bhattar interprets the names of this Slokam and the beginning Nama of the next Slokam in terms of the different steps when a Jivatma performs Bhakti Yogam or Sharanagati, and at the end of his cycle he attains Brahman. While reaching Brahman, the steps that he takes is this Slokam and the beginning of the next Slokam. These steps are not just Parasara Bhattar imagination. They are from the Upanishad. Chandogya Upanishad lists down the several steps while going to Sri Vaikuntham. Archis, Agni. Ahaha, day. Sukla Paksha. Uttarayana, Samvatsara, year. Aditya, Ravi, Chandramandalam, Moon, Vidyut, Lightning. Chandogya Upanishad lists these 7 steps. Agni, Day, Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana, Year, Ravi, Surya, Chandran, Lightning, Minnal. The Kaushitaki Upanishad lists down Agni Lokam, Vayu Lokam, Varuna Lokam, Aditya Lokam, Indra Lokam, Prajapati Lokam. The Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says Archis, Ahaha, same. Archis Agni, Day, Shukla Paksha, Uttarayana, Devaloka, Aditya Loka, Vaidyuta, which is the lightning. So essentially they all refer to the same thing. And here the Bhagavat Ramanuja points out that there are very many Upanishad references, and he points out that all the paths described in these 3 Upanishads mainly refer to the same Archiradi Margam, same way with the same steps, and the consistency is to be obtained by consolidating the details in different descriptions. Since they all list the same path in the final analysis, but they do not list all the steps, but they write few steps which while giving a compound it lists up, we end up with the Archiradi Margam with the following 12 steps. And what are the 12 steps here? The first one, Archis, Agni. Second, Ahas, Day. Third, Purva Paksha or Shukla Paksha. Fourth, Uttarayana. Fifth, Samvatsara or year. 6, Vayu. 7, Aditya. 8, Chandra. 9, Vaidyuta, lightning. 10, Varuna. 11, Indra. And 12, Prajapati. The sequence of these steps and the relative arrangement is not arbitrary in any sense. It's based on intense analysis of the different Upanishad Vakyams and coming up with a sequence that is consistent between the different Upanishadic declarations. A detailed discussion of the sequencing is given by Bhagavat Ramanuja in Sri Bhashyam, Brahma Sutra, Sutra 4.3.2. These 12 steps are the deities, the devatas that are established by Bhagavan, Sriman Narayana, to lead the Jivatma, the Mukta Jivatma who is attaining Sri Vaikuntham in his path, in his ascension, in his way to Paramapadam. These devatas help facilitate this Jivatma to attain Sri Vaikuntham. They are also called Ativahikas, or those that lead the way. The mapping between the different namas in this Slokam by Sri Parasara Bhattar and the different steps of this Archiradi Margam, the steps that lead to Sri Vaikuntham, as outlined in the Upanishad, are given below. Vihaya Sagati, the summary statement that he is the one who leads the Mukta Jivatma to Sri Vaikuntham, to himself. Vihaya Sagatihi, the summary statement that he is the one who leads the Jivatma, the Mukta Jivatma, from this samsara bandham to Sri Vaikuntham. Vigaya Sagatihi. Jyotihi, Agni, the first step. Archish, Agni. Suruchihi, the deity of the day. Ahas, or day. Hutabuk Vibhuhu, deity of the bright half of the month. That is Shukla Paksha, the bright fortnight of the moon. Ravihi, the deity of the half year, which is Uttarayana, while the sun moves towards the north. Ravihi. Virochanaha, the year, Samvatsara. Surya, which is Vayu. Savita, the sun. Ravilochanaha, a reference to the moon, the lightning and Varuna. Ravi Lochanaha. Ananta Hutabukbhakta, which is the next Slokam, Indra Lokam and Prajapati Lokam, the next 2 steps of the 12 steps of Archiradi Marga. So it's an entirely delightful experience to dwell. Nammalvar described in Thiruvaimazhi, 10th chapter, 9th decade, and the whole 10 pasurams describe the ascent, the path of Jivatma to Sri Vaikuntham in his pasurams, and the interpretation by our acharyas in particular. Swami so beautifully describes. We get a different dimension of the function of these Adivahikas, the people who facilitate the Mukta Jivatma when he is received, when the Mukta Jivatma enters into their kingdom, and they lead, they welcome the Jivatma and they lead on his way to Bhagavan. Bhagavan's deep love for his devotee who is arriving is expressed by Alvar in this beautiful 10 verses in his delightful devotional outpouring. So beautifully he says, Sur Vishum Panimugil Dhuriyam Mulakkina. He mentions this particular, the Archiradi Margam in this verse. The vast, well-spread clouds in the sky are so happy to see Sri Vaishnavas, devotees of Sriman Narayanan, and they raise thunderous noise and joy like beating the large drums. Sur Visham Panimugil Dhuriyam Mulakkina. The deep ocean raise their hands so high and make loud noise with their waves, express their excitement and joy on seeing the Bhagavatottamas reaching the Sri Vaikuntham. The 7 worlds support them happily. Alvar expresses the scene looking at the Jivatmas who are on their way to Paramapadam. So beautifully here he talks about. So the nature of description of Chetana Achetanas, the higher worlds, the Adivahikas, the celestials, Varuna, Indra and others, Vedastris, Marudganas, Nityasuris, reception by the Lord himself. Vandu avar edirkolla, the Lord himself comes at the doorstep of Sri Vaikuntham and welcomes the Jivatma with open arms and takes him by himself and make him sit on his lap. The entire 10 pasurams of Thiruvaimozhi in this is so wonderful and exquisitely described by Nammalvar on the path to Sri Vaikuntham. So here Bhagavan is decorating himself with tulasi garlands and waiting along with Periya Pirati to receive his long lost devotee. The Devas in all the worlds on the way to Mukta Jivas are setting up delightfully decorated for their temporary stay. They welcome the Jivatma, they wash their feet and then they honor him and then they move on to the next world. So each one welcomes, honors and they move on. A big festive atmosphere is prevalent everywhere on the way. High sounding musical instruments are being played all the way along. As the Mukta Jiva nears the limits of Paramapadam, the Nityasuris who are supreme in their Seshatvam, who are supreme in their eternal servitude, welcome the Jivatma to their world. Even the Lord is shining brilliantly in anticipation of this special occasion for his darling child to come near him. The Nityasuris are also rejoicing that at last a Jivatma has realized his permanent abode and is joining them, united with them, considering that it is their good fortune that this incident is taking place. Because only once in a while such a Jivatma come there. Otherwise we are all caught in the samsaric afflictions, running amok behind material pursuits and worldly pleasures. The Jivatmas are all welcomed by Muktas, by the Muktatma, those who have already been arrived there, and the Nityasuris. And everyone performs Padya Upachara, washing the feet of the Jivatma who is entering there. At each house, as the Mukta passes these lokas, it is thus Bhagavan and Periya Pirati look forward to their long lost child. So, Vihaya Sagatihi, he who is the means for attainment of Paramapadam. Vihaya Sagatihi Jyotihi, and he is the resplendent, he is the light that leads to Sri Vaikuntham. Jyotihi, here Sri Shankara mentions that he is the light. The Nama signifies that Bhagavan is the one who shines on his own accord. In previous Vigaya Sagatihi, Adi Shankara mentioned that he is the goal to be attained. Vigaya Sagatihi Jyotihi Suruchihi, he is of lovely effulgence, the daytime. he who has the good desire or will to protect the world. Sri Parasara Bhattar mentions after Agni to the deity of the day, the path to Brahman is described. Sri Shankara explains this nama as one whose effulgence, the brightness is beautiful, auspicious and attractive. And Vigaya Sagati Jyotihi Ruchihi Hutabuk Vibhuhu. Suruchihi Hutabuk Vibhuhu. He that is the bright fortnight of the moon. Here Parasara Bhattar interprets the term that one who grows and becomes full, Purno Bhavati. So this one talks about the Valarpirai. Sri Shankara here mentions that the Dvaita, the Shankara says here, treats Hutabuk Vibhu as containing two namas, Hutabuk and Vibhu. The Dvaita Acharya says the nama Hutabuk reoccurs in Slokam 95. So Bhattar Vyakhyanam, this nama is treated as Ananta Hutabuk Bhokta. So Hutabuk is he who is the consumer of oblations in Homa, the protector of the sacrifice. See, the interpretation given by Shankara is that he is he who is the consumer of the oblations in Homa. When somebody offers to the Agni, it is he who receives through the Agni. So though offered to different devatas in Homam, in the Yagam, he is the real enjoyer as described by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. So for the instance of the Nama in Slokam 95, Sri Shankara says, he who protects the sacrifice. So Vibhuhu, Hutabuk Vibhuhu, here he who is present everywhere, he who has manifested everywhere, he who is the Lord of the worlds, he who manifests himself in different forms. Sri Shankara's interpretation is, because he is everywhere, he is the Lord of all the three worlds. He is called Vibhuhu. Ravihi, the sun in his Uttarayana or summer solstice. So he is he who is praised by his devotees. Shankara explains that he is the sun, the driving force behind the sun. Rasan adatta iti ravihi. Bhishasma dvatah pavate. Bhishodeti suryaha. The sun has the name Ravi because he absorbs all the rasas or fluids from all objects. In Vishnu Damotara, Shankaracharya quotes the references and says to support Rasanam cha tata adhanat ravihi iti abhidhiyata. So that is why he is the driving force behind the sun, Adi Shankara mentions. Virochanaha, he is the illuminant. He is the ear. He is a various splendor, sun, moon, star, day, night, etc. So, Shankara explains that he has got various splendor. He is shining in forms such as a sun, moon, etc. Sri Radhakrishna Sastri says he is providing various types of rays to assist in the growth of the plants. So, Vyakyata, the commentators enjoy these namas so beautifully. Suryaha. Here Shankara mentions that he who brings forth everything, he who brings forth wealth is Suryaha. He who generates brilliance in Agni, in Surya, is also Suryaha. Savita, he who produces and brings forth the crops in the form of the sun. He who brings forth everything in the universe, Savita. Sri Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara mentions that he who brings forth creates all the universe. He gives support from the interpretation of Vishnu Dharmotara. Rasanam cha tadadanat ravihi iti abhidhiyate. Vishnu Dharmotara. Prajanam tu prasavananat savita iti nigadyate. So here he who shines brilliantly, he who brings rain, he who is the protector of the people, the Lord Savita, is all mentioned in Chandogya Upanishad. So Ravi Lochanaha, he who illuminates through the rays of the sun, he who has the sun as his eye, he from whose eyes the sun was born, he who is fond of praise, stuti. So here Shankara interpretation is, he who has a sun as his eye is Ravi Lochanaha. He quotes the Mundaka Upanishad for support. Agnir Murdha Chakshushi Chandra Surya. Mundaka Upanishad. He who has fire for the crown of his head, and he who has Chandra and Surya as the eyes, the Upanishad mentions. Such a beautiful way we enjoy this Nama. Adiyan. Dhanyosme. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.